Becoming unshakable under pressure. How pressure builds diamonds, not doubt. Pressure isn't meant to break you. It reveals your true strength and shapes you into someone unshakable. Because the moments when everything feels tight and overwhelming are the same moments that expose who you really are beneath the surface. Most people think pressure is a sign that they're failing, that something is going wrong, but the truth is that pressure only shows up where potential already exists. If you had nothing inside you worth developing, life wouldn't bother applying force. Pressure is the universe signaling that you're on the edge of transformation, that you're stepping into a version of yourself you've never met before. It squeezes you, not to crush you, but to push the greatness that's been buried inside you to come forward. Diamonds are created by heat and force, just like personal greatness is created through struggle, discipline, and resilience, because nothing valuable is ever formed in comfort. The metaphor of a diamond isn't just poetic, it's a reflection of how the universe works. Raw carbon becomes something rare and brilliant only when it's pushed to its limit, only when it experiences pressure so intense that it transforms its entire structure. In the same way, your character, your strength, your potential, and your inner power are shaped in the seasons where life applies pressure you didn't ask for and didn't feel prepared to handle. Those struggles that feel unfair, those obstacles that feel heavy, those moments that take your breath away, those are the same moments crafting the version of you capable of shining at a higher level. Greatness isn't an accident, it's a construction. And that construction requires weight. You don't level up when everything is effortless. You level up when life challenges you, and you respond with endurance instead of collapse. Every great person you see in sports, music, business, leadership, or everyday life carries a story filled with trials. Not small trials, but the kind that demanded maturity, demanded patience, demanded grit they didn't even know they had. Their greatness was not a gift. It was earned in silence, in isolation, in nights of doubt, in mornings of discipline, in seasons of surviving what would have broken a weaker version of themselves. Struggle teaches you what comfort never will. When things get hard, your excuses fall away. Your ego gets stripped. Your weaknesses get revealed. And that revelation becomes an advantage. You can't grow what you refuse to acknowledge. When life puts you under heat, it exposes the areas that need strengthening. Your mindset, your habits, your emotional control, your self-belief. And once you see those cracks, you can fix them. That's how pressure turns potential into greatness. That's how the process turns raw material into something worthy of admiration. Discipline is another part of this creation process. Diamonds don't form instantly. They require consistent pressure over time. The same goes for humans. You don't become disciplined by talking about goals or dreaming about success. You become disciplined by showing up every day, especially when you don't feel like it. You build discipline in the moments no one sees, when you're working quietly, fighting through fatigue, choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. Discipline is the internal pressure you place on yourself, the standard you force yourself to rise to. Without discipline, struggle doesn't turn into greatness. It just becomes suffering. With discipline, struggle becomes transformation. It becomes a tool you use instead of a weight that crushes you. Resilience is the final piece, the part that keeps you standing when everything around you feels unstable. Resilience isn't about pretending you're not hurting or acting like everything is fine. It's about recognizing the pain, but refusing to let it stop your progress. It's the ability to keep pushing, keep believing, keep building, even when circumstances tell you to quit. Resilience allows you to turn setbacks into stepping stones, failures into feedback, and disappointments into direction. It's your internal reminder that nothing is permanent, not pain, not problems, not pressure. Resilience keeps you moving until the season shifts, until the weight turns into wisdom, until the pressure becomes purpose. The beauty of becoming like a diamond is that the process changes you permanently. Once carbon becomes a diamond, it cannot go back to what it used to be. And once you grow through struggle, discipline, and resilience, you'll never return to the old version of yourself either. You'll think differently. You'll move differently. You'll walk with a deeper confidence, a quieter strength, a sharper vision. You'll stop being shaken by the things that once overwhelmed you. You'll stop doubting your path just because it gets hard. You'll start trusting the process because you've seen firsthand how hardship creates value. The hardships you face are not punishments. They are proof that you're being shaped for something bigger. They're the pressure molding your character, refining your energy, sharpening your mind. Without these seasons, you would stay ordinary, untested, easily shaken. But with them, you become rare. You become solid. You become someone who can't be broken by the same forces that create diamonds. And when you reach that point, your shine isn't just for you. It becomes a light for others. Your resilience becomes inspiration. Your discipline becomes a blueprint. Your struggle becomes a story someone else needs. People often want the shine without the shaping, the results without the resilience, the success without the struggle. But it doesn't work that way. Nature makes no exceptions. Diamonds can only be formed under pressure, and human greatness can only be formed the same way. The force you feel right now isn't there to destroy you. It's there to transform you. The heat you're sitting in isn't punishment, it's refinement. Every challenge you face is making you tougher, clearer, smarter, and more unshakable. You are not being buried by pressure. You are being forged by it. You are not losing yourself. You are becoming something stronger, something brighter, something built to withstand whatever comes next. Struggle, discipline, and resilience are not obstacles. They are the tools shaping you into the diamond you were always meant to become. When things get heavy, when everything feels like it's closing in, what's actually happening is that your old limits are being tested. Your old patterns are being challenged. Your old fears are being exposed. Pressure puts a spotlight on the cracks in your mindset, not to humiliate you, but to give you a chance to fix them before you reach the next level. Without pressure, you will stay the same. You will stay comfortable. You will stay small. Growth needs friction. Strength needs resistance. Diamonds need heat. And so do you. Think about the strongest people you admire. None of them became who they are because life stayed light and peaceful. They became unshakable because life hit them with weight. And instead of collapsing, they learned how to hold it. They learned how to breathe through it. They learned how to adapt, adjust, and rise above it. Pressure teaches discipline. It teaches patience. It teaches emotional control. It teaches you how to stay focused even when your world feels unstable. You don't learn any of that in the easy moments. Ease builds comfort. Pressure builds character. And the thing about pressure is that it strips away illusions. It exposes the truth about your mindset. When you're under pressure, you see what you really believe about yourself. You see how much faith you actually have. You see how committed you truly are to the goals you talk about. Anybody can be confident when the road is smooth. Anybody can feel strong when everything is in their favor. But real strength shows up when nothing is certain, when the path is unclear, when the odds look stacked and you still refuse to fold. That's the part pressure reveals, your refusal to quit. Pressure is also a mirror. It reflects your resilience back to you. When you go through something heavy and you survive it, you come out knowing you're stronger than you thought. Suddenly, the situations that used to scare you don't hit the same. The voices that used to make you doubt yourself lose their power. The obstacles that once felt impossible start looking like stepping stones. Why? Because pressure changed the way you see yourself. It built a tougher version of you, a version that doesn't shake easily. People mistake pressure for punishment, but it's really preparation. Life applies pressure right before elevation. Before every major breakthrough, there's always a stretch of discomfort, confusion, or chaos. Not because you're on the wrong path, but because you're being shaped for where you're headed. Pressure tightens your focus. It sharpens your instincts. It forces you to let go of people and habits that don't match the future you're building. It demands that you grow mentally and emotionally so you can handle the success you're walking toward. Without the pressure phase, you wouldn't be able to sustain the level you're trying to reach. Pressure also teaches you something about trust. Trust in your process, trust in your resilience, trust in your ability to figure things out. Then, when the path is dark, when you make it through situations that should have broken you, your faith in yourself becomes unshakable. You start moving differently. You stop doubting your steps. You stop questioning your worth. The confidence that comes from surviving pressure is different. It's rooted deep. It's not based on compliments or validation or outside approval. It's built from the inside, from knowing you didn't fold when folding would have been easier. And the more pressure you survive, the less intimidated you become by the next challenge. What used to feel heavy becomes manageable. What used to overwhelm you becomes another lesson. You start welcoming growth instead of fearing it. You start seeing challenges as opportunities instead of threats. Pressure doesn't just make you stronger, it makes you wiser, calmer, more intentional. It shapes your mind to stay steady in storms that would shake most people. So when pressure shows up in your life, you don't need to run from it, question it, or fear it. You need to recognize it for what it is: a tool, a teacher, a sculptor. Pressure is shaping you into someone who doesn't break easily, someone who doesn't lose themselves when things get hard, someone whose strength isn't conditional on circumstances. That's what being unshakable really means. Staying solid even when everything around you is shaking. Pressure is part of that process. Pressure is the shaping. Pressure is the making. Pressure is the proof that you're becoming more than who you were yesterday.